Good afternoon. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. We are coming live to you from the Kriya Bohema studio here as North Region. You are welcome. My name is Helena Anirija. Let's get straight into our headlines for this afternoon. "15 out of 23 new Patriotic Party members of Parliament in the Eastern Region declared their support for Dr. Bawumia's bid for the party's flag-bearer position. The Alliance of Drivers Ghana has announced a 20% increase in lorry fares effective Friday, 27 September 2025 due to rising fuel prices and maintenance costs. Also, Ghana signs state debt restructuring agreement over $256 million with United Kingdom. Later on Business Edge, we'll be looking at upcoming CEO Summit and its impact on the business world. Very much for staying with us. My name again is Helen Anyeweja, and we start from here. President John Mahama has launched a fresh proposal to overhaul the world's development model. At a UN side event, he unveiled the Accra Reset, a vision to move beyond aid dependency towards co-designed sovereignty-based systems, beginning with global health. This initiative already carries over $1 billion backing from African development banks.
As a continent advocate for reparations, I'm also deeply aware of the failings of the world's moral order. That responsibility is also why I'm passionate about the Accra Reset. For I know that without new governance, business and financing models for development, there can be no sustainable path for health, no resilience for our economies, and no workable future for global solidarity. That summit produced a resounding consensus. The health crisis we face is not only a crisis of disease, vaccines, and hospitals, but also a crisis of social and economic inequality. It is a symptom of a deeper malaise in the global development architecture itself. The collapse of the legacy aid system, punishing debt burdens in the global south, and fragmented supply chains are not isolated problems. The evidence that the very logic of global development, as we have known it, is no longer fit for purpose. From Accra, a message went out to the world. If we are to heal our health systems, we must first reset development itself. Excellencies, we meet here in New York at a time of increasing global uncertainty. Humanity has made progress once unimaginable. In 1990, 36% of the world lived in extreme poverty. By 2019, that figure had fallen to 8%. Global life expectancy has risen by nearly a decade in just one generation. Maternal mortality has declined by a third since the year 2000. In global health, since 2000 alone, more than 50 million lives have been saved through expanded access to vaccines, HIV treatment, and malaria prevention. The Global Fund and Gavi, born out of a new development consensus 2 decades ago, have provided life-saving tools to billions of the world's population. This progress deserves recognition. It reminds us of what becomes possible when global solidarity rises to meet global challenges. And yet, even as we celebrate these gains, the cracks in the global order are growing deeper. The question that agitates our mind is, how do we sustain these gains in the face of current global shifts? The COVID-19 pandemic erased 2 decades of poverty reduction in less than 2 years. Climate change has driven nearly 735 million people back into chronic hunger. Almost 1 in 10 of the world's population is facing chronic hunger. Developing countries now spend more on servicing external death than they do on healthcare and education combined.
Now, the government is set to declare all rivers and forests across the country as security zones as part of stronger initiative to combat illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. This announcement was made by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, who appeared on the GTV Breakfast Show.
In a stern warning, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, emphasized that anyone caught engaging in illegal mining activities within the newly designated protected areas, including rivers and forests, will do so at their own risk. The move is expected to empower state security agencies to take tougher action against the menace. The minister also updated the public on the progress of arrests related to illegal mining. He noted that the Attorney General is personally overseeing the prosecution of those involved, signaling that the law will be applied impartially, regardless of the individual's political or social standing. The government's intensified approach comes after years of escalating damage caused by illegal miners who have contaminated rivers, destroyed ecosystems, and undermined the country's natural heritage.
Now, illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, continues to pose one of the most dangerous threats to Ghana's environment, water bodies, and public health. Despite government interventions, the destruction is far from over. Rivers are poisoned, forests are vanishing, and communities are suffering. We are joined via Zoom by a passionate advocate and expert on this issue, Awula Sewa, coordinator for eco-conscious citizens, to help us understand the real causes of Galamsey and what must be done to stop it. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, Awula Sewa.
Thank you very much for having me. And I'm not an expert. I'm just an environmentalist. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin with the big picture. What is the current state of illegal mining in Ghana, and how serious is the environmental threat it poses right now?
Currently, we face an existential threat. We will all perish if we don't arrest the situation. We've been saying this for a very long time, but it doesn't look like it has sunk in. Water is life. As you rightly said, our rivers are being poisoned. We are told about 60% of them. The landscape has been contaminated, our farmland, and that is why the alert has been given to us about our contumely, for example, that high levels. And it's not limited to vegetables. I'm sorry? This is not limited to the contumely. It extends to our tubers, our plantain. The food chain has been contaminated. Our forest reserves are being decimated. There's a rise in kidney disease. Confanoche Hospital tells that it's gone up 4 times. There's neurological disease. You see, we're on the verge of a catastrophe. The house is burning. The situation is dire. As you rightly said, the ecosystem has been destroyed. So what we need to do is to take swift, robust action immediately to arrest the situation. Because you see, water is vital to our survival. Without water, we will all perish. And even in wartime, when you poison the source of water, it's a war crime. So the environmental terrorists have declared war on Ghana because they are poisoning our water source, and we need to act swiftly.
Okay, now the minister has said that rivers, lands are set to be declared as security zones. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we need to understand exactly what that would entail. Does that entail the same thing as, we have been asking for a state of emergency, and not just to mouth, I declare a state of emergency. What we are asking for is for the boots on the ground to have the strength of our armed forces in the forest reserves which are under threat and which have the environmental terrorists there. Our Navy, with all the support they have on our water bodies, clearing the environmental terrorists and removing their equipment. And this needs to be done urgently. So what we are saying is that we need the full force of our armed forces and all the support we can muster to deal with this problem, because it's likened to the house being on fire. We've been using buckets of water. What we need to do right now is to call the fire service to come in swiftly and put out the fire. Otherwise, if you wait too long, by the time they come, it will be a recovery exercise to retrieve the dead bodies. Okay. So if you are declaring security zones, what does that entail? Is it going to be boots on the ground, going to all the hotspots, the forest reserves that have been taken over, or where the environmental terrorists are, and removing them? Having all the resources you can muster to deal with this? These are the questions that need to be asked.
Okay, we will definitely have to get into the details of that and to go further. But thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Awula Sewa.
And can I just quickly say that we need to also work with the activists. We have activists who are trying to protect the landscape. In Atromso, for instance, these activists were actually arrested, refused bail, and currently face criminal charges. We are appealing to the Attorney General to drop the charges so that we can encourage activists. Every single Ghanaian has been mandated by the Constitution to defend the environment, to protect the environment, and that's what the activists in Atromso were doing. We need all Ghanaians to join in the fight, and this can only happen when they are not harassed by the police or by others who are seemingly complicit in the destruction of our environment.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. That was Awula Sewa, who is the coordinator for Eco-Conscious Citizens. Now let's turn our attention to other matters, as 15 out of the 23 new Patriotic Party members of Parliament in the Eastern region have declared their support for the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, bid for the party's flag bearer position. Speaking on behalf of his colleagues on Wednesday, September 24, the Achilles MP, Kofi Ahinkra Manfo, noted that Dr. Bawumia possesses the credentials needed to lead the party to victory in the 2028 general elections. The group made this announcement during a two-day campaign tour of the region.
This caucus comprised 15 out of the 23 MPP MPs in the Eastern region. Our purpose to endorse the candidature of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for the flag bearership of the MPP for the 2028 elections. We are doing so because we are clear in our minds that Dr. Bawumia is the best candidate to lead us to victory in 2028 elections. Having been well marketed and having served as Ghana's most impactful vice president, he is the best option politically and policy-wise to win us the elections. Secondly, he is a candidate who demonstrates the characteristics that Ghanaians want in their next leader: humble, effective, and embracing all persons. We need a leader who unites and not one who divides. Finally, after all the propaganda heard against the MPP in 2024, it is becoming clear day by day that Bawumia was right in many of the things he proposed. Now is a time that more Ghanaians are warming up to this idea. Changing him will be setting ourselves back by another 16 years. We have the committed and will work hard for him across the region and encourage all party members to firm in their resolute to support his candidature.
Still on politics this afternoon, the minority in Parliament has called on the government to immediately suspend its agreement with the U.S. authorities, resulting in the deportation of some African nationals to Ghana recently, insisting the deal requires parliamentary approval. The ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Abujinapo, in a press conference noted the government acted in a breach of the Constitution, sovereignty, security, and policy.
Repatriated the initial 11 deportees to their various countries, it is expecting to receive about 40 more in the coming days, a move many Ghanaians, including the minority in Parliament, find unconstitutional. In a press conference on Wednesday, September 24, the minority expressed shock over comments by the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa that the Attorney General Dominic Ayine advised Cabinet that the agreement does not require parliamentary approval, making reference to numerous cases during his time as Deputy Attorney General.
We wish to remind the Honorable Minister that the Constitution makes no such distinction between formal agreements and memorandum of understanding. As held by the Supreme Court in the Bamford case, the provision even covers agreements reached by note verbals. The attempts by the minister to downplay this agreement in the face of this clear provision of the Constitution is very disturbing.
The minority demands an immediate suspension of the deal with the argument that continuous operationalization of the agreement with the United States without parliamentary ratification is a direct breach of Article 75 of the Constitution and an affront to the authority of the Supreme Court.
The decision to serve as a receiving point for West African deportees against their wishes with emphasis from the United States risks our country being perceived as aligning itself with the United States government's current immigration enforcement regime, one which has been criticized as harsh and discriminatory. To associate Ghana with such policies could have several negative implications for our country, particularly within the African continent. We therefore reiterate our call on the government to suspend with immediate effect the unconstitutional implementation of this agreement until Parliament has duly exercised its constitutional mandate to scrutinize same and ratify it or otherwise.
In a related development on the Gaza conflict, the minority bemoans statements by Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister characterizing the development in Gaza as genocide, with indications that Ghana has made its position clear in engagement with Israeli authorities, whilst also expressing solidarity with the Palestinians.
By describing the events in Gaza in absolute terms and aligning the country explicitly with one side in a highly polarized conflict, the government risks compromising the delicate balance that has long safeguarded Ghana's credibility as an impartial actor on the international stage. Our tradition has been to call for peace, dialogue, and adherence to international law without issuing declarations that may prejudice our ability to play a mediating or bridge-building role. Successive governments have, over decades, interpreted and applied these principles by maintaining a posture of independence and impartiality in international conflicts.
Now, away from that, the CEO for the Ghana Trades Fair Company Limited, Na Amele Bamba, says the president's reset agenda has been given expression in the Osagifo Made in Ghana Fair as a boost in contributing to tourism sector. She was speaking at the third edition of the Osagifo Made in Ghana Fair, a national platform designed to spotlight homegrown products, ideas, and creativity to celebrate Ghana's first president.
The fair features a wide array of made-in-Ghana products, from agribusiness and textiles to technology and handcrafted goods, with each being a representation of local potential and economic self-determination. Addressing a packed audience of dignitaries, exhibitors, sponsors and proud Ghanaians at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, Na Amele Bamba reaffirmed the fair's purpose as a living expression of the reset agenda. According to the CEO, the Osagifo Made in Ghana Fair has grown into a vital platform that connects producers with buyers, innovators with partners, and small businesses with national visibility.
And as a visionary, we decided that we will honor him not through words, but to create an enabling platform for our vendors and our exhibitors to come and showcase their goods and also sell to the local market. We were expecting about 150. And currently we have over 100 exhibitors here. And of course, this is the third exhibition. So
Now, Ghana Revenue Authority has imposed a 20% tax on sugar-sweetened beverages to reduce the country's high sugar consumption and associated health problems. The move aligns with the World Health Organization's recommendation to prevent non-communicable diseases.
According to the World Health Organization, regular consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, SSBS, including soft drinks, flavored milks, energy drinks, vitamin waters, fruit juices, sweetened iced teas, among others, is associated with an increased risk of dental cavities, type 2 diabetes, weight gain and obesity in both children and adults, heart disease, stroke and cancer. Evidence show that implementing taxes on SSBs increases product prices and reduces demand, resulting in less purchases. Ghana has therefore joined the growing list of countries taking proactive steps to promote public health and reduce the burden of non-communicable diseases by introducing a 20% tax on sugar-sweetened beverages. Kwabna Apau is head of excise unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority.
The products that are coming onto the market have attracted the appropriate taxes. As we said, we are imposing the tax to make sure that we reduce consumption. So everything that we have to do to make sure that the tax is actually imposed, we have to do that. And that is why we have a control mechanism like the tax stamp, which is also administered by the Ghana Revenue Authority. Every product that comes in has to have the tax stamp on it. If you see the tax stamp, what it means is that the taxes have been paid. The taxes have been paid.
Benjamin Anabila, Country Director for Institute of Leadership Development, speaking at the press conference where the announcement was made, said countries like Mexico, the UK and South Africa have implemented sugar taxes, resulting in reduced consumption and increased revenue for health initiatives.
The Act, as it were, has placed some percentage of taxes on some products, but we are limiting it to sugar-sweetened beverages. And then there is a 20% tax that was passed by Parliament in 2023. So our aim as Institute of Leadership and Development is to support the GRE to be able to fully implement this Amendment Act.
Studies show that the 20% tax on SSBs can lead to a significant reduction in consumption, with some countries experiencing a 12.6% decrease in SSB consumption.
Let's do some more business stories this afternoon as the World Bank has cautioned Ghana to urgently accelerate reforms in the energy sector for risks to deepen its debt crisis. Now, the Division Director for Ghana, Robert Talierko, warned that financial shortfalls in the sector could rise from $1.4 billion in 2024 to $2 billion by 2026, representing about 2% of GDP. He issued the caution during the launch of the World Bank's 2025 policy notes on transforming Ghana in a generation in Accra.
It's useful to remember that Ghana has made significant strides in the past and can do so again. In the early 2000s, Ghana recorded robust economic growth that averaged 6.8% annually between 2009 and 2019. I remember hearing about it in those days, and the corridors of the World Bank, that this was sort of the poster child for reform and impact in terms of economic growth. The country also achieved a dramatic reduction in poverty, halving the rate from 1991 to 2016 to reach 23.4%. This progress not only outpaced much of sub-Saharan Africa, but also enabled Ghana to meet its Sustainable Development Goal on poverty reduction. However, in the past decade, Ghana's economic and social prospects declined due to rising macroeconomic challenges, culminating in a severe crisis in 2022 that undermined poverty reduction as well as job creation efforts. For example, between 2012 and 2023, net jobs were only 250,000 net jobs were created, 250,000, most of which were in low productivity sectors. Moreover, Ghana's history is marked by repeated cycles of fiscal expansion followed by sharp adjustments, reflecting recurring fiscal stress and a challenging political economy that have made sustained reforms difficult. Sustaining policy reforms, therefore, remains challenging, and risks will continue to escalate unless prompt, decisive action is taken. For example, further delays in the long-awaited reforms of the energy sector are risking the country's macro-financial sustainability. It costs the government approximately $1.4 billion in 2024 in transfers to cover the financial shortfalls in the energy sector. And these are projected to rise to about $2 billion by 2026. This is about 2% of GDP, which could otherwise be used for priority spending in health, education, or improving Ghana's road network. In this sense, every month of delay is extremely costly for the nation. We're deeply concerned about insufficient progress on these critical reforms.
That'll be all for the news updates here on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Helen Anyewejan. We are going for a quick break. When we return, Akwasi Efriye will continue with Business Edge. Do stay with us.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame? As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late, of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go feel the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go feel be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go feel be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God off a boom. If you're poor, what's that to you? So would the coming of the son of man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Sister, me dad, dear Betsy, be an amium, I could eat that. Me many tears, I'm in Sakami, say, made us with it.
Sika, sit down to the moon. Did you so more? Baggy the one, yeah.
So, what you say bag number? One number to show. Wow. That's a minute one from you, Banana Solio.
Hey!
Smart, bold, unapologetic. This is Annie Ampafo. The voice of reason, a force of media. She's the one Ghana turns to every Monday morning for the headlines that matter and the conversations that shape all of us.
And on the basis of Article 34, that's the Directive Principles of State Policy, we meet here again this morning, and you're welcome to Good Morning Ghana.
And when the afternoon rolls in, she's back, cutting through the noise, asking the tough questions, and bringing clarity to the issues that matter.
A committee to investigate containers carrying ECG cables that are meant for Ghanaians or meant to provide light for the good people of Ghana.
In the morning, in the afternoon, Annie Ampafo isn't just reporting the news. She's shaping the conversations that shape all of us. Annie Ampafo, smart, fearless, unmatched, only on Metro TV. When the day ends The real stories begin. Michael Ado.
Updates with lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
Efua Ando. Sandra Ofosu. Ikuya Ababio. Dominic and Sapra.
We're bringing you the latest in the world of business.
Sharp, precise, compelling, unmissable, uncompromising. News Night. Tonight at 7 p.m. Only on Metro TV.
Some loves are born in the blink of an eye.
I've been madly in love with her since the first time I saw her. Then let's get married today.
I'll be the happiest woman in the world by your side.
And they kill your soul in a flash. Televisa presents You Are the One. Angela dreams of keeping her promise to be a great doctor and help her people. To Alvaro, ambition is stronger than his dream. And this greed will lead him to commit the worst betrayal to the woman he loves.
I will have a husband no matter what.
Samantha, will you please marry me?
Turning all her dreams into painful disappointments and dangerous consequences.
I've been waiting for you to answer my calls, Alvaro. I haven't heard anything from you. I've sent you so many messages, but you've never responded.
Have you left the bus station?
I just want to pay my debt and get out of here.
Her photographs are going to sell fast, and she will be our gold mine. Our clients will love those.
Are you looking for a boyfriend? Are you all right?
You Are the One, proudly sponsored by The Luckiest, Appointed Time Printing, Time Herbal Mixture, Samu Spices, Give Us Herbal Center, Blue.
Welcome to Cook Africa. Straight to the Ashanti region. Hey, we're talking about people by today. Even a few days ago, you were trending. You and this character went we'll get there.
Ginger, the boy nako. Or the ama spices. Spices, the ama salt. We beat my chance. Or the ama money. Money they call. Debbie, welcome, go cake.
So my grandmother took care of me. Okay. So she actually taught me how to do it.
Anyway, there, I got it.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
The journey continues, but becoming that phenomenal lady doesn't happen in a day.
It takes courage and refusing to settle for less.
This season, on the PL Show, it gets much more diverse,
engaging and impactful. This is the PL Show.
We paint the perfect picture of pain, sleepless nights, hard work, and of course, the ultimate breathtaking view from the mountaintop, success.
Successful ladies from all walks of life doing amazing things and positively effective change in their respective fields.
And as you know, we share all these with you, our ardent follower, to help you navigate that journey and also come out strong and phenomenal.
This is the PL Show.
It's brought to you by Kale Charcoal, Kale 360, and Kale Kicks Toothpaste.
Back in the day, tune in radio from morning, and you don't want to miss out because anybody who comes on is massive.
They say back in the day on Metro TV, Mr. BKD anyway.
Back in the day, mentioning the place that you used to live, no, that meant that you were Dadaba.
Oh, how?
Because we are the ones who went to Saito.
I wasn't really a nightclub person. No, I mean, the only times I went to the nightclub, Kofi Dixon took me.
Yeah. You have a Walkman by your side. Now that was your selector.
The Walkman was your selector. So when you play the first song and you want to change the song, you have to start cueing your next song through your headphone.
Hi, my name is Ivan Pashigan. I'm the CEO of Farmhouse Productions. I'm a film director, producer. You are watching Back in the Days with Sammy B on Metro TV.
Massa, we a guy and yes, Sammy B a feature. This is Back in the Day. Keep watching.
Back in the Day is brought to you by Telecel Ghana.
Smart, bold, unapologetic. This is Annie Ampofo. The voice of reason, a force of media. She's the one Ghana turns to every Monday morning for the headlines that matter and the conversations that shape all of us.
And on the basis of Article 34, that's the Directive Principles of State Policy, we meet here again this morning, and you're welcome to Good Morning Ghana.
And when the afternoon rolls in, she's back, cutting through the noise, asking the tough questions, and bringing clarity to the issues that matter.
A committee to investigate containers carrying ECG cables that are meant for Ghanaians or meant to provide light for the good people of Ghana.
In the morning, in the afternoon, Annie Ampofo isn't just reporting the news. She's shaping the conversations that shape all of us. Annie Ampofo, smart, fearless, unmatched, only on Metro TV. When the day ends, the real stories begin. Michael Ado.
Updates with lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
Efwa Ando, Sandra Ofosu, Ikuya Ababio, Dominic and Sopra.
We're bringing you the latest in the world of business.
Sharp, precise, compelling, unmissable, uncompromising. News Night, tonight at 7 p.m. only on Metro TV.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Business Edge right here on Good Afternoon Ghana. You've just seen the news gone by when we started the show at 12 o'clock. It's now 12:30 and we get strictly into business, the data, the analysis, the agriculture, the finance, everything that you need to capture on the airwaves. We are right here for you with Business Edge. So thank you very much for tuning in. We are coming your way live from our studios here at Reach in Accra. And I'm happy to be here, of course, for God and country. Now, let me announce to you a program that is coming up. I'm going to begin with a program, and I'm sure we'll get into the whole of the discussion may not necessarily center on the program, but that's, of course, the item leading us into the whole of our discussion. That's the second edition of the CEO's Breakfast and Network Meeting. You want to know the people that are going to be speaking, and I'll tell you why, and you'll be excited seeing some of those people here. You have Mr. Kofi Amoaben, you all know him. He's going to be speaking there. Then Professor Emeritus Stephen Adai, you know him as well. He's going to be speaking there. And then our very own Mr. Joe Jackson, Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, and you know him across the airwaves. And I'm happy that this afternoon he is already here in the studio. We are going to be talking to him. I have already mentioned to him, or will beg of him, that would maybe divert a bit and come back. We'll be going around and coming back. So, Joe, I'm sure that's okay by you.
Very, very okay.
That's
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Thank you very much for joining us. Anyway, and then Romaric Abebiu Dankwa will be the one moderating this very powerful event that's coming up. Romaric, thank you very much for joining me. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm super good, thanks. And yourself?
I am doing very well as well. I'm going to begin with you, but I have Uncle Joe here. Uncle, good afternoon.
No.
And I hope you're doing well.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, today I'm an 8.
So you are very well.
Very well.
Very well.
Excited.
Thank you very much for joining us. And let me begin with you. This meeting is coming up, and it's for the CEOs of the companies, public and private, that we have in the country that are going to meet. So let me start from this point. Are you, the chief executive officers, okay with how the economy is going?
Yesterday, I spent the morning speaking to a group of credit union managers and directors in Takoradi at their annual meeting. And I said, at the end of 20, I was supposed to talk about the economy. And I told them a story, and I said, listen, at the end of 2024, Ghana's economy was like a storm had blown, and you're on the beach side and you see the roots, the trees uprooted and everything. And it's in the evening and you are standing there and you're wondering, looking at the devastation and wondering, what happened? Today, the sun has risen.
The sun has risen?
Yes. The sea is calm again. And even though we are rising and starting to rebuild what went wrong. Those 2022, 2023, 2024, devastating. 2025, hope. Vim.
Okay.
So the economy is doing better. Listen, the numbers tell you. But talk to any business person, and there's a more hope and there's a lot more faith and anticipation that things are not only better today, but they will continue to be better.
So 2024, 2023, 2022, we had come to you for knowledge, for your experience, and for your analysis of the economy, and you had given us reasons why. And even though members of government at the time had cited, for example, COVID, for example, Russian-Ukrainian war, which was destroying the economy, they had reasons why the economy wasn't performing well. What would you say are the reasons now?
You see, let's take this table.
Yes.
Suppose I climb onto this table and I stand at the edge. Right. Everybody will look at me and say, the edge of the table. Now, look at my size. Look at my age. Standing at the edge of this table. Then you come and you push me and I fall over. Well, you did push me. But what on earth were you doing at the edge? Did you not see that you were walking all the way to the edge and that you were going to be in trouble? COVID removed our clothes. COVID tipped us over. Ukraine, Russia war. But the point is that we were already on the edge. We were already ready to fall. And we're bleeding. We were in trouble. Is it COVID that made debt servicing 50% of all our revenue. They're paying interest, 50% of all our revenue. Paying salaries, another 55%. No, it wasn't COVID. That was decisions and choices we had made pre-COVID that led us there. So COVID was bad. COVID tipped us over. But the problem started long before COVID. That's the simple.
And so it wasn't the external factors. And you think that
did they tip us over? They tipped us over. But we had problems long before. We were going to fall anyway. COVID just maybe accelerated it by a year or so.
You think that the managers of the economy are doing well? They are performing?
Yes.
Currently, as it is now?
Oh no, as it is now, I can't complain. I can't really. Anybody who complains, you see, sometimes, because when things go bad, we will hold them responsible.
Yes.
When things are improving, we should give them credit.
I agree.
Because listen, take one simple example. Rewind to 2023, 2024. We were locked out of the foreign Eurobond market.
Yes.
We're still locked out.
Yes.
But when there's an auction of domestic bonds, the treasury bills, what do? We go to the market and we collect everything.
Exactly. Yes.
If it is oversubscribed, we collect everything. If it is undersubscribed, we collect everything. Contrast that with now. If we said we're going to the market for 4 billion, when we get to the market at 4 billion, we stop. If we said we're going to the market for 4 billion and only 3 billion is there, when we get to the point where we are at our target rate, we stop. That discipline alone has changed a lot of things. That discipline alone has brought down inflation. That discipline alone has helped bring down the value of the dollar. So, please, let's give credit where credit is due.
Let me come to you, Romaric, and I'll ask you the same question because you have been talking to the chief executive officers. I don't know whether you have asked them and whether they've been able to tell you how excited they are or not about the economy as it is now, currently.
Thank you again for having me. I think I agree with Uncle Joe, you know what he's saying. So the sentiment among leaders, among CEOs, is that currently we are enjoying a level of stability, you know, and the business environment is getting more friendly, you know, than it used to be. So I totally agree with what Uncle Joe is saying, and that shows you that he's a man of the people and he has his ears on the ground, you know, because that is the general sentiment among the business communities. That's what most of the business leaders are thinking. And more and more you see people are building confidence, you know, and there is hope. There is hope. That's very important.
Let me ask you before I come back to Uncle Joe. I'll come and ask you whether it's the issue about the dollar coming down and so you have some stability, you have money to do business with, and that's why, or what is it? But let me ask you about the program. 2nd of October, 2025, second edition of the CEO's Breakfast and Networking meeting. You say the rise of the conscious leader. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so the CEO Breakfast and Networking meeting is a high-level gathering of CEOs, business leaders, and thought leaders. You know, it is a space to share strategies, spark collaboration, and build meaningful business relationships, all in one impactful morning. Now, the last edition showed us one thing. Leaders are hungry about real, honest leadership conversation. And that encouraged us to come up with a second edition. The energy, the enthusiasm, the breakthrough, you know, in the room made it clear. We had to have a second edition, and we had to do it even bigger and better.
And so far, how is it going? The preparation, 2nd October, it is coming up?
Actually, I think we are very excited about the theme of this year.
I see a very powerful team you have.
Because we are talking about the rise of the conscious leader. And you can see we have people like Uncle Joe here, you know, who is a mentor to so many and a father. Okay, we're talking about the rise of the conscious leader. We're talking about power, profit, and principle. You know, and we are very excited about it because one thing you know is that it is true that as business leaders, we wield a lot of power over the people who become the main instrument for us to deliver the profit. And once you are a business leader, with that power, you are expected to deliver profit. But it shouldn't be profit without principles, right? So this is what we are going to be discussing. This is what we are going to be talking about. And as you said, we are excited to have battle-tested leaders, okay, like Uncle Joe with me here today, all right, like Professor Emeritus.
Uncle Joe, you have agreed to be part. I see you on the poster.
Oh, definitely.
So you are going.
I'll be there.
You will be speaking.
I'll be speaking.
Okay, so let him continue. So please go on, Romari.
Okay, and then we have Captain Prince Kofi Amabeng, who will be with us. Okay, and Professor Emeritus Stephen Ade. Okay, these are battle-tested leaders. Okay, these are people who don't just talk the talk, but they've walked the walk. Okay, and I tell emerging leaders, I tell young CEOs that it is our responsibility to tap into their brains before they leave the scene.
Yeah.
So it is refreshing to sit with Uncle Joe, you know, and hear what he has to say, you know, and learn from him. So we believe that it is an event where every emerging leader, if you are a leader or you want to lead, if you have the responsibility of making tough business calls, okay, if you have the responsibility to deliver profit, you know, or grow a business, you should be there.
Do you see leadership traits in the young people, myself and the very young people that are up and coming? Do you see the kind of leadership traits we have in Uncle Joe and Professor Stephen Ade and the people that you are gathering together? Do you see it in them?
We have a serious problem. We really have a serious problem. And that's why we're coming up, you know, and we want to gather those great leaders and learn under their feet. Really. Our generation, we have a serious problem.
What is the problem?
See, okay, for those who are familiar with the scriptures, okay, so you know the Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 30, verse 21 and 22, that there are 3 things that makes the earth tremble, 4 that it cannot bear. And then the verse 22 starts by saying that a slave that becomes king, all right, because there is nothing powerful and dangerous like a slave with power. A slave who becomes king simply means that even though the person has been given power, he still thinks and behaves like a slave. Now, you know, wearing a crown does not change your mind. It only exposes it. All right? And a slave that becomes king will be no profit in terms of financial freedom to his people. So it is important that we undergo that mental transformation, okay? Learning from people who have done it, you know, learning from people, battle-tested CEOs, right? So we come to them and we believe that it is our responsibility, you know, to engage them. It is our responsibility to learn from them, have them mentor many young entrepreneurs and business owners. So for the next generation.
Are you inviting public sector CEOs?
Yes, a lot of them. A lot of them will be there. A lot of them, you know. And for instance, you will hear Professor Emeritus Stephen Ade talking in a moment. You know, we believe that a lot of public sector CEOs have to be there and learn from him. For instance, Prof has given a free copy of his book to everyone in attendance.
You have copies there?
That is the Gimpa story. Okay, so everyone in attendance will have a free copy of the Gimpa story. You know, that shows you how to turn, a state-owned organization into a self-sufficient, self-financing organization.
Do you see? I'm struggling to put this together, but the public sector CEOs, do you see leadership in them?
Yes, I do, but not enough. If we had
And Uncle, I will ask you the same question. According to SIGA, the State Interest and Governance Authority, almost all the state institutions that we have in the country, as of last year, apart from 3 state institutions, Ghana Reinsurance and 2 others, all of them were making losses. The ones that were supposed to generate their own IGF, the ones that were receiving funds from the government, all of them were making losses apart from 3. We have CEOs in all of them who are politicians. Do you see leadership in them?
Some of them show levels of leadership, but again, I will tell you, it is not enough.
Uncle, let me come to you. In the private sector, you are getting results. You are making, not you personally, but you are making profits. You are giving your shareholders. Public sector CEOs are making losses. Do you see leadership in them?
First question I have for you before I answer is that if I am appointed CEO, I'm responsible to my board and to my shareholders. Now, if the board wants me to make profit, right, they will hold a stick and a carrot and make sure I make profit. So, just maybe, it is not the question of whether they have the leadership qualities or not, but maybe have they been given the right KPIs with teeth? Have they been given the right stick and the right carrot to deliver profits? It's easy for us to sit here and say, deliver profit. But if you're a public sector CEO and there's constant interference, constant pressure, and the profit motive is not what you hear in your ears. The efficiency motive is not what you hear in your ears. The productivity motive is not what you hear in your ears. And what you hear in your ears is, find me some employment for the foot soldiers. Don't cut off services because it is a strategic place. And truly, I can't blame you for not making profit. Because even the Bible says that be faithful to he who appointed you. It is the noise of the person who appointed you that will lead you to do what is right. If the appointing authority said, if you don't do this, I will get rid of you, and meant it, and followed up, and showed teeth. So, just maybe you are looking in the wrong direction. Just maybe these CEOs are delivering according to he who appointed them. And as a people and as a government, we must be asking, and we must be crying out that the losses being made in the public sector is not good enough. So long as we seem comfortable, I will ask a simple question. Which CEO has been fired because he didn't present his accounts for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Which CEO has been fired because they didn't make profit? Which CEO has been fired because his institution was not efficient, was not productive?
So you want to blame the appointing authority?
Not them. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that the appointing authority has different issues at stake. So I cannot measure him by the measures which my board, my shareholders are holding me responsible.
They actually get audited at least every 6 months. At the end of the year, every year, they get audited.
No, they don't. Go and read what how many of them have audited accounts? how many of them are making
At
profit?
the Public Accounts Committee.
Yes. So for me, it's very simple. I'm just saying that as a people, as a government, we seem to talk about the situation, but accept the situation.
I get it.
So, listen, they are leaders. People talk about leaders being, whether it's they are born or they are made. But somewhere in that continuum, everybody has a potential to be a leader. And typically, by the time you get appointed, even within your party, even if it's solely party-driven, there are some leadership qualities that you have demonstrated. You can deliver. It is what, you see, we respond to feedback. As leaders, as followers, as everybody. What feedback am I getting? So when I go and sit in my office and my board looks at my books and then my board is on my case, that Joe, these losses have to stop. And they are clear about it. And even without saying, I know that if I continue, I'll be
gone.
I have that perspective.
Let me announce that if you're watching, we have Professor Stephen Adey currently in the studio joining us. Prof, good afternoon to you and thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
We are happy you have been able to make it. And you are welcome.
The snail always arrives.
But thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have been on the leadership discussion and the topic that is going to be treated in the conference, the CEO's breakfast meeting. I started asking the question whether he is a CEO, he has been meeting CEOs and moderating, whether the chief executives are currently happy with how the economy is running. I want to ask you the same question. You are a leader and you have been interacting with business owners, managers, and CEOs all the time. The leadership of the country now, how the economy is running, are CEOs satisfied and okay?
The jury is out there. But I think that the present government inherited a very bad situation in terms of all the economic indicators. So far, therefore, I think that they have made some progress. Its sustainability and other things, I would really like not to pontificate on that. So, the average CEO, including myself, actually, I'm CEO of a company which I wouldn't, of companies, which I wouldn't.
You don't want to mention that.
This stage, so that it doesn't become personal.
Okay.
We are talking about generality.
Okay.
I think must be relatively comfortable with the fact that the rate of interest on capital is going down. It doesn't mean that capital is available, which is a different thing altogether. You know, one of the things in talking in Ghana is the fact that if you say one thing, somebody will say, what about the other thing? But I think that the cost of borrowing is on the downward trajectory. Because of the non-performing loans and the rest, it will take time for the banks to respond appropriately. But already I can see it. I am a member of a board of a bank. Already we have reduced our interest rate by what? About 10%.
Okay.
So this will follow through. There are other constraints which, of course, the business is not about only borrowing. If you are doing business about energy, our energy situation is precarious and has not been done, and I don't expect overnight. I mean, but it's very, very precarious. All my businesses are now switching to solar.
Okay.
Because as the government is promoting 24-hour economy, I say that but we have the energy to support a 24-hour economy. I want a 24-hour economy. So therefore, I will provide the means for it.
Right.
Which I had started not be, irrespective of the government. So there are many other factors. But on the whole, even if you have 10 factors and 2 improve and the rest are the same, there has been a general improvement. And I think that we must be honest.
What I'll do is we would still do the 24-hour economy, whether we have the leadership set up to be able to run it. Then I'm happy that you bring it. But that's leadership, to know that it's the government wants to run, you want to run energy sector, and you provide solar because you want to cut down costs and so on and so forth. But let me go on a quick break and come back. When I come back, we'll look at what we were just discussing, and then we'll continue with the leadership discussion. Stay with me.
Manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late, of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From Natebia cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
God Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Hey. Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
This BB9 Jazz Season 10. No filters, no scripts, no holding back. Cause it's 10 times the drama, 10 times the rivalry, 10 times the game. This is certified. No zero, no minus. Big Brother 9 Jazz Season 10 on Showmax.
So you're welcome back. You're welcome back. The discussions are still going on. We ended off with Prof. We'll continue with him and come back to what we were having. So, Prof, we had you told us about how you are being energy sufficient. That's leadership. And I asked Uncle Joe and I asked Romari, do we have such kind of leaders in the public sector today?
Unfortunately, I must say that the bane of Ghana's development today is the public sector. It has been politicized, it is inefficient, it has been corrupted because the politicians are corrupt and other things. I was a public servant all my life till 60 years. I worked for the Ghana government and its para institution for 21 years. 3 years with the Commonwealth Secretariat, 11 and a half years with the United Nations, all our public servants. And during all these years, I can say, and I want to challenge anybody to come with an evidence, you will not think about even taking, oh, thank you, 100 Ghana cedis. Secondly, you worked for the government of the day. And this is one of the things, the politicians, they come and they sweep all the public servants, so therefore during the short time they want to steal enough so that when another government comes, they will survive. But you worked for the government of the day. You gave clear, professional advice, but you let the politician decide whether he will take it or not. That's not the public service. And if you give an advice and it is rejected and you think it is too bad, you will not live with it, you resign. In 1985, I was the deputy director of Ghana Investment Promotion Center. I told the government I cannot work with you anymore, not because I had any job. And for 3 months, I was unemployed. For my life, for the first time, for all my 77 years, that was the only time I was unemployed. Wow. But this was the principles that guided the public service. The politicians, I can't vouch someone was cleaned up by the other, but they are getting totally corrupted these days. And you know what I always said when I was a public servant? Nobody can steal government or public money without the corroboration of a public servant.
Yes.
Because somebody must sign the check, somebody must agree to inflate the...
Somebody must raise the memo.
Yes. And that brings me, before I leave, since I spend so much time in the public service, I believe, and I'm working with my children, and even more so with my grandchildren. I say I want every grandchild of mine to be a millionaire before they are 30. And we are investing and working towards that. And the reason is this. If you cannot lose your job, you would never be able to be a person of integrity. And that is a very... And so the governments here, let me emphasize the S, because I'm not talking about one administration. Therefore, try to make people dependent on the state. Even the business people, they want you to be dependent. And sometimes they will destroy your business if they feel that you are not dependent. And that has been the bane. Because when people are independent in their minds, are willing to endure even some temporary, then they are able to do what is right. And eventually, when I came, you were talking about the private sector.
Yes.
When the owners want you to do wrong, we'll come back to that. But let me finish on the public sector. I believe that the biggest constraint on our development, instead of being people from outside and other things, unfortunately, has become the public sector on Ghana's development. And what they will do or not do will constrain or make it easy for the private sector to operate. My conclusion on the public sector before we come to our business sector is this. It's always said, the private sector is the engine of growth. And I said, but who is in the driver's seat? Individually, yes. People must distinguish between my good finance person in his business succeeding. If you are smart, you can outsmart the government. But as a country, you cannot go outsmart the public sector. When the public sector is dysfunctional, it constrains. So you shouldn't think, this one is succeeding, this one is... We want the environment
to succeed.
And my take is this. I don't see why the governments don't see this. Because when you create the environment, actually, you politically succeed. Because the success of the private sector in the country, employing people, paying taxes, you can put in place a virtuous cycle as the government. So it is in their interest. Just for example, my school employs the last pay was 333 staff.
You're paying them all?
Are paid a month. 2,200 students, Ghanaians, are off the back of the government, because even if so, you multiply it, and if you have just 10,000 Ghanaians doing that, what do you do? So this is, and when we are a mixed economy, private sector driven, the biggest role of the government is to promote these businesses, create an enabling environment, and actually what they are seeking to do, sad to say, often by stealing, by doing this and that things, they will achieve it, and at the end, they will be the beneficiaries. Because Ghanaians will vote one government in power for about 30 years if they are doing right thing. Exactly. So you even gain your political ambition.
That I agree. Let me come to you, Uncle Joe. And Prof has outlined the problem and made some suggestions. Do you have any to add on how we solve this problem? Maybe not just for the public sector, but the entire leadership problem here in Ghana.
Now, I will speak from the perspective of what we are trying to achieve with the CEOs. Because as for the problems, there are a myriad of problems. You see, leadership can be very lonely. Yes. And so what we are trying to do with the CEOs event is to bring leaders together, to talk together, to share together, and to learn together. Because sometimes the challenge we have is that because it is lonely, all your problems seem magnified. They seem so huge because you don't know who else is facing it. If in our little way we can bring these leaders together to share, to listen to battle-hardened veterans. And you notice that whereas Prof has spent the greater part of his life in the public service, Captain Retired Amoabin success really came from the private sector. So this is to give you two different perspectives. If you're a CEO in the public sector, there is a perspective that you should listen to. If you're a CEO in the private sector, there is a perspective that you should listen to. If you are trying to merge the two and be a revolutionary public sector CEO who makes profit, this is the place to be. So that you can share, you can listen, and then just maybe we will all leave that place better leaders, better CEOs, better directors, and better human beings.
And then I will ask you again, like Prof did at GIMPA, we have public, and I was just quoting the SIGA report for 2024, that we have a lot of, all the state institutions failing, apart from 3 of them. I can mention Ghana Re, for example.
The short term, in 1966, at the time Nkrumah was overthrown, there were 34 state corporations. Only 2 were making profit, and the average capacity utilization was 15%.
Romaric, I'll come to you, but how do we come out of that?
Yes, go back to him.
Yes.
I'm saying since 1966, that research was done by M. Hack by in a book, Ghana 25. You can go and Google it. And I happen to be privileged because he was my senior colleague at Strathclyde University in Glasgow to review the book and publish it. It was my first article in journal. So that's why. So what I'm saying is that the performance of the state enterprises has been very bad from then. I can't say before 1966, but since 1966
up till today.
And that was the review of the books for the first 25 years.
Yes.
Today, one of the drains on Ghana's resources and public finances. So go back to him.
Yes. The question for me is, how do we get out of this? I mean, some of these will be discussed there at the breakfast meeting, but we can share some of the ideas here so that the
I'll tell you, I come from, first of all, right, a lot of our public institutions are destroying value. They are destroying value. You give them 100 cedis and the output is 40 cedis, so they are destroying value. For me,
yes,
those ones that are destroying value, we must get rid of. We must only keep the institutions that we must absolutely keep and that show sign. You see, there are institutions that we are even now still trying to create. There's an effort now to give us an airline, right? The UK doesn't have a national airline. The US doesn't have a national. China, so forget the West. China doesn't have a national airline. Why is Ghana rushing to create a national airline?
It is not necessary.
It is not necessary.
What he's saying, listen to him carefully.
I'm getting it.
There can be a Ghanaian facilitated airlines by the government.
But not necessarily have a career.
Not a state owned.
Let me even go further. Part of the problem now is that not enough Ghanaians own the institutions in this country, whether it's the finance sector or the industrial sector, right? We don't own the institutions here.
Even the retail businesses.
Every sector.
Retail businesses. We don't.
Apart from peasant farming.
Yes. The only one is peasant farming. But I'm telling you, that privatize this. Let's increase Ghanaian ownership of this economy. Now, I could go on and on about Ghanaian ownership, but I'll just end here. When the Ghanaians own the economy, whatever happens, they bring some money back. When a foreigner owns the economy, whatever happens, he has to chop his money in his country.
But that's not why he's being rational.
No, he's being rational. Look at me. If I made money, I would want my peers to look at me and say, we have
Prof says when he grows up, he wants to be like you.
No, please don't go on air with that. But the issue is that privatize them, let them own. Listen, I come from a radical school of thought that a bad privatization is better than a bad publicly owned enterprise in Ghana. And that even if we complain about the privatization process and we think it is fraught with issues, it is still better than what we are doing.
The profits will still come back.
Because you see, once I'm handed an institution, whether it was a gig or not a gig, I still have an asset of value. And I will treat it right. I will not, you see, once I own it, I will not allow it to destroy value because it will be destroying my resources, not the state resources. So on that score alone, let's privatize. Let's sell on the stock exchange. Let's do whatever we need to do, but get rid of the worst of them and halve that bleeding that is going through the public sector.
Romaric, let me pick your thoughts also. How are we able to solve this problem of leadership in Ghana, not just in the public sector also?
Again, I want to say that most of our problems, talking about the emerging leaders, okay, I want to say that there is a lack of, let me use the word apprenticeship, okay, because we have different kind of leaders that emerge in different ways. But I believe that the leaders that take their time to follow and learn from other leaders become better leaders, right? And this is my call to the emerging entrepreneurs. We need to sit with our fathers. We need to learn from them. I'll say it again, it's our responsibility, to get close to them, to learn from them before they leave the scene. And then I believe that Prof said something that is very, very deep. Now, if you look at the public sector, okay, we've had a history of not making profit in the public sector, okay? And he gave some numbers that were very, very exciting, about I used to. But this is what I want to say. For those who know the GIMPA story from 2000 to 2008, when Prof ran the place, okay, turning a public-owned organization into a self-financing institution, okay, where many, many African countries today admire the work he did. It means it is possible. So how do you do that? You need to get close. You need to learn from them, so that by the time you also take the driver's seat, you have learned from those who have walked the walk and those who have made it. Now, this is how I believe our leadership problem should be handled. All right. I strongly believe that the fathers need to mentor the young and upcoming leaders, and that's why we are calling them. Either you are a leader in the public sector or you are a leader in the private sector. We are bringing Prof. Uncle Joe Jackson is there. Captain is there for those that are in the private sector. So you will. So you will always find somebody with whom you can have honest, deep conversations about leadership, and they can show you the way.
Prof, let me come to you. I'm happy about what Romeric says. You had mentioned the number of years you have worked in the public sector, even before coming to GIMPA. We know Uncle Joe, how long he's been in the system and who he is now. The people of my age and below want to become like you. We want to drive GLS 450 tomorrow. We don't want to go through the process. Prof, I don't know if you've seen the problem and how do we as a country, from your perspective, come out of this?
Let me actually say that my last born is an executive director of an institution. And when he was appointed, and above him is the CEO, for me it was quite surprising. The company founded by his father says that he doesn't want the office given to him. That's why. He says he wants to share the same office as the CEO. He says, I'm a young man. If only he will allow me, I will sit with him in the same office and learn under him for about 10 years. They have been shared. And he was so generous. And of course, he's an honest, clean man. He has nothing to hide. So he says, so he has his office. The CEO's office. His desk is here. His desk is there. In the middle is the conference when they have people. My pride was he not say that, can I nudge this man out and take over since it's established by my parents, but I believe that the desire to succeed overnight will destroy everybody else. Even the Bible says that he who creates wealth little by little grows. And young people ask me, how do we learn leadership? I like using letters. For example, good leaders is CCC, character, competence, and care. But when it comes to learning, because I try to help them not to forget, I say TTT, talents. That is where all these young people, they have a lot of talent. And when I meet some of them, I shudder how smart they are at their age compared to some of us who were learning by doing. But the second is training. That's where the learning from.
Please do.
One day, when I was the UN head of the United Nations in Namibia, where I was the UN ambassador for 4.5 years, my boss visited me. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was then the director of the African Bureau. I didn't know that he was watching every move of mine. So he came for a week or so's visit. And if you're ambassador, when your president comes, you go and sit at the left-hand side.
Yes.
So I went with her. She would sit on my seat, and then I would sit beside her. And when I was taking her to the airport, he asked me a question. Stephen, how did you learn to lead so well?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I might have given some stupid answer because I don't remember it. I mean, you don't expect that. You don't expect that one from your boss. But later on, when he has whatever answer I gave, because I might have fumbled, because I realized because right from my master's degree, I served leaders. First, Dr. Kwame Donkofojo, one of the best Ghanaian leaders, capacity, model, and everything else. He was the chief executive of Capital Investment Board, now Ghana Investment Promotion Center. When I joined the international circle, I met Burkinabe, Dr. Pierre Claver Damiba, one of the best leaders I've met, even though later on, unfortunately, few things happened in his life which I wasn't good enough not to follow. Then I had the privilege of being the chef de cabinet of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in the United Nations. Now I looked back, and before then, I had a wonderful mother who was a peasant, but so clear what he wanted her children to be. So much that in our village, we were laughed at as the woman's child, though we had a mother. And it is this mentorship that makes a lot of learning from leaders. And then the first is talents, which the average person has. The second being training, going to seminars like this. For example, we could say to the glory of God that my wife and I were among the leading family life counselors in any part of the world. But every year, we attended a family life seminar of somebody to sit at their feet learning. And the final T is trenches. Leadership is not an armchair profession. You have to learn by doing. And this is where it is important. You have to lead. True leaders learn as they make their mistakes, as they rise and other things. They open their life for criticism because that is trenches. So I say you learn leadership by talent, training, and trenches.
Let me come to you on the same point. Young people today want to be like you today. They have finished school, 5 years in school, or 5 years after school, not a Toyota Yaris, but maybe a Highlander or a Range Rover. They want to be like you. How do we solve that?
Well, there's nothing wrong
in being ambitious.
What is wrong is what you will do to further that ambition. You see, and like the topic for the event.
Yes.
Right? You have the power. Right? You may be ambitious. What is wrong is that lack of a compass that says, I will do anything to achieve that ambition. So first of all, I have no problem with a young person today being ambitious. The difference, the way I have the problem is that what will you do to achieve your ambition? In fact, I will encourage your ambition. Yes. So the challenge is not that they are ambitious. The challenge is a lack of compass, a lack of direction, a lack of principle that will say, even though I have this ambition, I will not do everything. And I will not do anything. You see, so by all means, be ambitious. By all means, reach for the stars. But do it within principle.
Don't do galamsey.
As for galamsey, I'll tell you this. Fortunately, those doing galamsey are victims.
They want to be rich at once.
Yes. Those who are enjoying are not young people. The kingpins are not young people. They have financial muscle to do this. Those guys in the trenches are mining without gloves. They are mining without any safety gear. They are the ones who are going to be in kidney dialysis in the next few years. Those kingpins, when they go to a Galamsey site, they are carrying a bottle of water. Let's move on.
Please go on.
Yeah. Just mention my leader Joe's view here as to we'll talk about the compass, the time frame.
Yes.
And I'll give you a practical example.
Yes.
I work in the public sector and really at a relatively high level. At the UN, I was a D1 director. So other things. But at 60 is when I set my goal that I've served the public sector and I'm going to work for myself. And that in 10 years, and listening carefully, I say in 10 years, I want to become a millionaire. 10 years at 60 to become a millionaire. I gave myself time. I didn't achieve at 10 years, but I did at 11 years. In other words, the young people there's practically impossible to become rich overnight without doing wrong.
I used to say to myself that at 30 years, if I haven't bought a Range Rover.
Range Rover?
Yes. I don't. Now I'm almost 40 and I haven't bought a Range Rover.
Okay, I'm glad.
I'm so
I thank God you didn't buy it. Because to have killed you.
I wanted to make a certain contribution.
Yes,
right?
please. Before you leave, let me also announce that Prof and Joe will be leaving very, very soon. So we'll go, when they are done with their submissions, we'll go on a break, maybe by 40, and then we'll come back with another interview. So you stay with us. Don't go.
You see, when I started my business life, after some point, I also became a man of faith. And there was one... And
I love Jesus.
And then there was one verse in the Bible that worried me. He said, it is harder
for a rich man
to make heaven than for an elephant to pass through the eye.
Actually, it was
a camel to pass through the eye of a needle.
They're all big.
And it bothered me because it was in direct conflict with my goals, my wealth-making goals. What we don't realize is the very next verse. It says, but with God,
all things are possible.
And when it talks about God, it talks about faith, it talks about principles,
values.
It talks about values, it talks about a certain compass. So it is that compass that makes it possible. Otherwise, you are going to be like the camel going through the eye of a needle. Prof says very clearly that you can't do it without being corrupt. So for me, whatever your persuasion, make sure you have a compass. Mentorship is important, sharing, and all the things we're talking about. But you must have a compass. You must have something to ground you, to anchor you. Something when everything is all over the place and there's a decision and a choice to be made, will make sure that you make the right choice.
Prof, your final submission, then I can take the quick break so
you
can leave us.
I believe in being a principled capitalist. I believe that young people should be encouraged to aim high, intellectually, but also financially. In fact, I have started what I call 1,000 Millionaires Club for young people.
I want to join. I want to be a millionaire.
You are invited. And I tell the young people, even laborers, all that it requires is to invest 100 Ghana cedis a month in Joe's firm. And in 30 years, if they return an average of 15%, you are a millionaire. If you contribute 500, you become a millionaire in 20 years. 1,000 cedis makes you a millionaire at 15% in 16 years. And I'm not talking about some magic, just basic compound interest. Because Albert Einstein was told, what is the most powerful thing in the world? And people were he thought he was going to talk about the law of relativity. He was the best, today still the best physicist that has ever lived. He looked at people's face and he says, compound interest. We must teach the young people how to grow wealth, zero tolerance of corruption. For example, I just found, just on the basis of compound interest, that every grandchild of mine, when they are born and I give Joe 25,000 cedis to invest for them. Before they are 30, they are millionaires. These are the type of things we must teach people to create wealth and not have an aspiration whereby you can only get it. Of course, that's why they are all joining politics at the age of 15 because they become political.
They become food soldiers. And
yes, food soldiers, because they get the position, they steal enough within 4 years to build mansions and go to Galamsey, and some of them believing that they will strike gold, and most of them are victims rather than the profiteers and the rest. So, and this is where business is important. I spoke in Kumasi about 6 months ago, and I said that I'm prepared to support as many, up to 500,000 cedis, that's 5,000 cedis for people who need to start business small and give them time to pay back because I don't want it to be free. I haven't gotten one response. Why? Because 5,000, they want to chop it at,
in 1 day.
1 day, rather than using
to buy an iPhone with
to
it.
create wealth. And for me and Joe and all of us, is helping people to create wealth through sustainable businesses. We are going to speak to the big ones, how to be able to use their power of influence to make profit in a principled way. But some of us are also involved at the grassroots, because unless we can create wealth,
thank you, Prof.
We cannot separate poverty.
Thank you very much. But your picture is here. You are coming for the program.
Yes, of course.
I got the commitment of
yes.
you.
And the two of us
have the commitment of
you. Have to go, except that when they invited us, we didn't want to disappoint you.
Romeric, you are not going. You are with us for at least for the next 10 minutes. Thank you don't go away. We will be right back, Prof. And Uncle Joe, thank you very much. But we are here. We are still here with Romeric. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Smart, bold, unapologetic. This is Annie Ampofo. The voice of reason, a force of media. She's the one Ghana turns to every Monday morning for the headlines that matter and the conversations that shape all of us.
And on the basis of Article 34, that's the Directive Principles of State Policy, we meet here again this morning, and you're welcome to Good Morning Ghana.
And when the afternoon rolls in, she's back, cutting through the noise, asking the tough questions, and bringing clarity to the issues that matter.
A committee to investigate containers carrying ECG cables that are meant for Ghanaians or meant to provide light for the good people of Ghana.
In the morning, in the afternoon, Annie Ampofo isn't just reporting the news. She's shaping the conversations that shape all of us. Annie Ampofo, smart, fearless, unmatched, only on Metro TV. When the day ends, the real stories begin. Michael Addo.
Updates with lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
Efua Ando. Sandra Ofosu. Ekuya Ababio. Dominic and Sapra.
We're bringing you the latest in the world of business.
Sharp, precise, compelling, unmissable, uncompromising. News Night. Tonight at 7 p.m. only on Metro TV.
You all come back from the break. So Romaric is still here in the studio, and I'm quite excited about the program which is coming up on the 2nd day of October, because you have seen for yourself and heard for yourselves the people that are coming. This is only a tip of the iceberg. But let me come to Romaric and for him to detail us on the program itself. So please tell us, you said it's happening on the 2nd day of October. Tell us the time, tell us the shape it will take, and whether I can participate or who can come.
So the program is happening on the 2nd of October, which is next week, Thursday. We start at 7 a.m. And by 12:30, we will be heading for a buffet lunch. And after that, a networking session, and we can go home. All right. So we want everybody that is in leadership or who wants to lead. If you are a CEO, you are a business leader, you are a thought leader, or your responsibility is to make tough business calls, we want you to be in that room.
And for SME owners, for startups, for small and young entrepreneurs, are they allowed to come?
Of course. So startup, young entrepreneurs, we want to focus on the emerging CEOs. Okay. So we believe that, and this is very important. I want to show this. Captain is giving a free copy of his book.
Okay, I can see that on the screen.
Okay.
Wow. A free copy of this?
Faithful Decisions.
For every participant?
For everyone in attendance. Going to have a free copy of this. That is Faithful Decisions by Captain
Kofi
Amobeng. All right. So, of course.
I see other ones as well.
Prof
and this is
also
by Prof.
A free copy of his book.
Oh, so by participating, you get a copy of all of these books for free?
That's right. And of course, you also get a free copy of the book by Justice Sego.
Leading Inside Out.
Leading Inside Out. Justice Sego is actually the visionary, okay, and the convener of the CEO breakfast meeting.
Wow.
And of course, I'm also giving out a free
that's
copy of my book.
That's powerful.
All right. So when you come, you are living with 4 solid books, right? All this in one morning. So this will be given to everyone in attendance. And that's not all. There's going to be a raffle, courtesy Delex Finance.
Okay.
One lucky leader is going to have a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold.
Oh, then I have to come and see if I will be able to win. So finally, if I want to come in, apart from watching you here on air, how do I reach out to you? Is there maybe a Facebook page or a phone number or something that we can reach out to? And do we have to apply?
Yes. Okay, you can register online. Okay, using the link ceonetworking.odu.com.
ceonetworking.odu. ODU.
ODOO.
ODOO.com. ceonetworking.odu. That's ODOO.com.
Yes.
For anybody who wants to come. So you can register there, ceonetworking.odu.com. And
you can also use the phone numbers.
Okay, so phone numbers, please.
You can use 0208 100 949.
949. 0208 100 949.
Yes.
All right. So that is it. If you want to be part of the second edition of the CEO's Breakfast and Network meeting, that's if you're a leader, if you are a startup, if you're a young entrepreneur, if you are an emerging leader, or if you are a leader of a multinational or a large enterprise, you want to take part of this program and learn from the very seasoned businessmen and business leaders, some of whom we have just showcased, and the kind of intellect they have exhibited. And you can meet Romaric himself when you get to the meeting, Thursday morning, 7 a.m.
7 a.m. So come straight from home. There's going to
Thursday
be breakfast.
morning, 7 a.m. Come straight from home. There will be breakfast, there will be snacks, there will be
and
lunch
then, of course,
as well.
there will be a buffet lunch for everyone.
Thank you very much, Romaric. So we'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be there to cover.
Thank you, Kwesi.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there. Thank you very much. So Romaric Abebio is part of the team putting together the CEO's breakfast meeting. Thursday, we'll meet there. Coming up now is a conversation with the Transport Operators Association. We have GUTA, that's the PRO of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, not GUTA. GUTA is the Ghana Union of Traders Association, but we are talking to the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, the Deputy PRO in the person of Mr. Samuel Amwa. The issue is that some transport operators have intended with the increase of fuel to increase their transport fares, but it is being kicked against by the transport operators, the Private Road Transport Union. They say, no, you cannot go up to increase your fares without the requisite authorization. Samuel Amwa is live with me on Zoom. Thank you very much for staying on, Samuel. Good afternoon to you. Now tell me why you are opposing the intent by some people to increase their fares.
All right, so thank you very much for having me, and let me use this opportunity to say good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers out there.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we just saw a release coming from a group called Alliance of Drivers Union that they are having an intention of increasing transport fares by 20% effective coming 29th. But then when we saw this release, yes, we shared their concerns about spare parts being high costs and other components. But you know, normally we normally look at the fuel price, the percentage, you know, where the fuel price was and where it is now. Quite recently, COPEC came out that by last 16, that is when the middle, you know, price window opens, the fuel price might go high. Yes, we were, you know, watching to see the fuel pumps, you know, where the price would go. But we had an information that, you know, they call it to a hold, and that increment couldn't come on. So as GPRTU, we are now waiting for the next pricing window where the fuel price will go before we take a decision. As I usually say, we have a team that works on that. Those that goes out there, the team from the GPRTU sector, go out there to check on the component, the spare parts, where the percentage increment on the spare parts, that of fuel, that of lubricant, and the taxes as well. When the team, you know, do all their checks, they report back to the secretariat, that is the national office. Then we also sit down and think of what to do. If we find out that there is the need to increase transport fares, we all know the procedure. We write, you know, officially to the transport ministries. Then we have a dialogue with them. We have a roundtable meeting with them. Then we all agree with a certain percentage before we come out. So it's not like we just, you know, wake up one day and we come out like we are increasing transport fares. No, that is not how it goes.
But Simon, my very last question to you. Some of these transport operators do not cite just the increment in the fuel prices, but they also cite the cost of spare parts, whether the dollar rate or the exchange, the city's performance against the major trading currencies have affected the spare parts that are being imported by Kumasi Magazine, Abosi Okai, and so on and so forth, that they are buying to repair their cars. So all of these affect the pricing. Do you still oppose based on the fuel increment alone?
Yes, we have a serious challenge with the spare parts dealers. Quite recently, we came out that we were asking them to reduce their staffs, because we know very well that normally when the dollar rate goes up and then the import duties also goes up, that is where they also increase their spare parts. But this time around, we find out that dollar rate has come down a little bit. The import duties too has been reduced, and yet the spare parts are still up. Okay, so that is why quite recently we came out.
Well, so Samuel Amua is the Deputy PRO, Ghana Private Road Transport Union. That does it for the Business Edge edition of today. Thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Kwesi Free, and thank you very much, our guests who came through. Keep watching Metro TV. We have quite exciting programs for you for the rest of the day. Good afternoon.
This October, the world of public relations converges in Accra. The Institute of Public Relations Ghana, in partnership with the African Public Relations Association, the Public Relations Society of Kenya, and the International Public Relations Association, present Public Relations Knowledge Sharing